We are so thankful to have Adam Schefter as we continue Jordan Love Watch 2024 here in the great state of Wisconsin. Adam, how are you doing today?
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
Football, New Year.
Oh, don't get Gabe started, Adam. Do not get Gabe started.
This isn't the official start of football, Adam. We've got so much longer to go. Like a lot of this is just fluff. It's guys saying that they're in the best shape of their life. Whether that matters when you're in, shorts and a helmet, who knows if that matters.
But Rashawn Gary is getting a lot of love. He is having a fantastic training camp thus far in helmets and shorts. You hear Chewy, can't stand it when people go crazy about the first few days of training camp. All right, Adam, here's where we want to start with you, obviously. What is the latest you are hearing with the Jordan Love contract situation?
It's a lot like last week when we talked. I said at that point in time, I believe that they were working to getting it done. They could get it done. There was a chance they wouldn't get it done. I still think that in the end, there is too much that they've done. They're too far along in my mind that it's hard to imagine that it wouldn't get done. But that possibility exists that they can't figure it out. They can't get it across the finish line. I think they will. I think that when we talk about that Dak Prescott contract that looms out there, you want this deal done before then. You do not want Jordan Love's deal to follow Dak Prescott's deal if you are the Green Bay Packers. And you have a roadmap to getting this deal done, whether you like it or not. Joe Burrow came in at 55. Trevor Lawrence came in at 55. So it shouldn't be all that difficult to figure it out. Both sides sound like they're motivated to get it done. And if there is an agreement that the guy's not going to practice, that, of course, Jordan Love first weighed in, the team signed off on it. Didn't sound like they were upset about it. Sound like they were complicit in it. To me, that tells me that they're confident that they're going to figure out a way to get this contract situation resolved sooner rather than later.
When does panic time start, Adam? If we get to family night, which is a week from Saturday, is it time to really get concerned?
You know what, Chewy? Here's the thing. I don't think it would be panic, but the longer it goes, let's be honest, the more it's going to come up and the more people are going to start asking questions and the more people are going to start to get uncomfortable and uneasy about it. Now, panic, that's a strong word. Panic, I would panic if we reached basically the end of the preseason and he still hasn't practiced and he hasn't been out there at all and the deal's not done. Now I'm starting to, even then I'm not panicking. I'm getting I'm uneasy there. Panic is like Labor Day. Guy's not practicing and it's not done. That's panic.
Is there any chance that either side, once you get this far in the negotiations, kind of starts to get a little bit stubborn and dragged in, to kind of make the whole charade worth it? Because if the Packers, Adam, end up giving him something similar or just beyond the Trevor Lawrence deal, I'm going to wonder, okay, what the hell took so long? Why did you wait? If you already knew that this was going to be the price, how did you not get this done before camp began?
Well, that is going to be the price. I mean, that is, that is going to be the price. I don't know that that's the hang up. And I don't know specifically what the hang up is, but I would imagine, they're haggling over guaranteed money, structure, things like that. Like, we all can do this deal and we can do the average. The average I expect to be about 55. Is it going to be 55.25? Is it going to be 54.75? And honestly, really that's secondary, because if you look at it, Joe Burrow's 55 is a lot stronger than Trevor Lawrence's 55 with the way the deal's set up. So that, in my mind, is what they're doing. Even if maybe Jordan Love's deal comes in, I'm making this up again, 53, but maybe his guarantees and structure is stronger than Trevor Lawrence's. So you'd rather have the 53 than the 55 if you looked at it. But that's what I think they're going over. And I think it's taken the Packers a little bit of time to process and get their mind around the fact that it was what Jordan Love was saying now that Trevor Lawrence's deal is done. And it's time for all sides to figure out a way to get this across the finish line.
Adam Schefter hanging out here with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. All right, Adam, we get this all the time on the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. We get this all the time on our YouTube comments. Of course, you can stream the show on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. People asking why Jordan just doesn't honor the contract that is in front of him. He obviously is under contract for this season, $11 million. And I got one staring at me right in the face. It's like any other person couldn't tell their employer that they're not working until they get a bigger deal. Can you please impart to our loyal listeners why it is not the same as every other Tom, Dick, and Harry out there with a job?
Yeah, I'll happily do my part, and we'll see how you all feel about this. But if that were the case, then why can NFL teams just simply turn around and cut a player when he's supposed to be making, let's say a player's got a 4-year contract and he's making $10 million a year, and they cut him after 2 years, and there goes the final $20 million on the deal. So NFL teams can do that, but NFL players can't. Now, if you're an NFL player and there aren't a lot of them that has leverage, then to me in the NFL, if you're a player, you exercise that leverage whenever you can. Jordan Love is in a unique position. Most quarterbacks are. That's why they're the starting quarterbacks. And so Matthew Stafford was considering not showing up to training camp. That was a conversation that he had, a debate he had. Is it worth it? I'm making $31 million. Now, the public would say, $31 million? Are you out of your... Of course you're showing up to work. Except, again, and I'm not siding with Matthew Stafford, but there are other quarterbacks making $24 million more than Matthew Stafford this year. Is that right? I don't know. Let me give you the most egregious example right now. Okay, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. Jordan Love at 14, that's $41 million below market value. Why should Jordan Love show up when that money's not guaranteed, when they could just cut him and he doesn't see that, when he's the most important player on their team and the market value for a quarterback is in the mid-50s right now? Why are you showing up for $14 million? Like, that's crazy in my mind. And so the most egregious example that I started to touch on is Jamar Chase. Have we seen all these wide receiver deals get done this offseason? What is the going rate for a good wide receiver right now? A great wide receiver, a receiver of his capabilities. It is north of $30 million. Justin Jefferson got 35. A.J. Brown got 32. Jalen Waddle, in a very strong deal, got a 28. Amon-Ra, 30. What is Jamar Chase worth? You, Tom, just a random question. What do you think he's worth? Give me a number, Jen.
Based upon Jefferson,
what did Jefferson get?
35.
I mean, he's got to be right up there, right?
Amon-Ra got 30. A.J. Brown got about 32. What is Jamar Chase worth? Give me I'm not
33, 34.
Yeah, as the number one receiver there for sure.
Jamar Chase's base salary for this year is scheduled to be $1 million. $1 million. Okay. Now, if you are Jamar Chase, he showed up yesterday. I'm just having this conversation because I'm curious about it myself. How do you approach this? Are you playing that out? Like, you could do that. That's an option for what you're playing the season for $1 million. Okay. Now, to me, that's crazy. That's crazy to step on a field when we think his number is somewhere in the 30s and he's going to sign a 4-year, we'll call it $120 million extension. What's the guarantee? $80, $90 million? Like, are you stepping on the field for $1 million? I'm not. Now, am I holding out? Fine. I'm one of the best wide receivers in all of football. I'm not risking my future for $1 million when I'm contract eligible. Too bad. That's how I feel. Now, again, the public isn't used to the idea. I used to think like that. Like, oh, you have a contract, you have to show up. But a player's shelf life in the NFL is minimal. He has only so many seasons and years when he can force his body to play a brutally demanding sport. He has so many years to make whatever money he can. They can cut him at any point without having to pay him that salary. And if you are fortunate enough and good enough in the National Football League as a player to have some sort of leverage, it should be used every time it can. Not every player is in that position. Probably on a roster, I would say 50 of the 53 players don't have that leverage, roughly. But the other 3, I would use it every time I could if I were able.
Adam, why is Dak and Tua practicing? Especially Dak.
You know, everybody's got to make a decision. And Dak, let me just take a look at this. Dak right now is in the final year of his contract, no trade clause, no tag clause. He's already made Chewy a ton of money. I don't know what his career earnings are, but I would say they're about $100 million roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And he is close to the finish line where, having already secured his future, he's on the brink of looking at a deal that will make him the highest paid player of all time. So why is he practicing? That's why he's practicing, because he's close to the finish line and he could afford to be out there. So that's why he's. But Tua hasn't been paid yet, not in full. We know the going rate. Look, Tua and Jordan Love are in very similar situations. Tua is scheduled to make $23.17 million this season. He missed mandatory minicamp. He obviously has decided to show up for training camp. I think you show up with the idea that you're doing it in good faith, that you and the team will continue talking and you're going to give them a reason, just like Jordan Love is there, even though he's not practicing.
Mm-hmm.
That was worked it out. So Tua has made the decision. I'm going to go. We're going to keep talking. We're going to work towards getting it done. The Dolphins want to get it done. Tua wants to get it done. And you'd like to think they will get it done. I don't think that Dak's in that situation. I don't think there's been a whole lot of conversation. Doesn't look like that deal is getting done. And Dak's saying, you don't want to pay me? No problem. I'll become a free agent and hit the market. Plus, Dak has already withstood significant injury. He's made money. He's that close to becoming a free agent. He can roll the dice in my mind.
By the way, the career earnings for Dak north of $162 million.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
easier on the second deal.
So by the way, in the highly unlikely chance that he were to suffer a catastrophic injury in training camp, which, when was the last time that happened to a quarterback? Teddy Bridgewater went down in training camp. That was awful, terrible. Impacted his career. But has any other quarterback, has that happened to in the summer? Like, not many. Vinny Testaverde.
I can remember.
It's very rare. It's very rare. Plus, Dak's going to be smart in the sense that he's not going to be in the middle of a 7-on-7 drill, running into somebody, and if they're going live, he's not going to sneak and sticking his head in there for the extra yard. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's got the red jersey on. He'll be smart.
Last thing for you, Adam. You mentioned yesterday that the 18-game NFL season continues to gain traction. Obviously, they would have to revisit the CBA in order to get this thing pushed through. But how confident are you that very soon the NFL season will, in fact, expand?
Well, what's very soon, Jen?
Well, give me a window. What do you think? 5 years? 3 years?
There's rumblings.
Chewy? Yes.
I'm just confused about how you have discussions at a very high level, but those very high level discussions aren't formal discussions.
Look, there haven't been any active negotiations yet. This is still a ways away from happening. Again, it certainly feels like it's moving towards that. There's been enough conversation from enough people at enough levels that tells you that, in my mind, they're going to get to an 18-game season. They're going to get there. But the question is, how long will it take to get there? I don't think they're close to it right now. I don't think they're close no matter what conversations they've had. But the idea is kicking around. And I guess I would say this. It's coming. It's coming. It's going to happen. They have to figure out a way to have it happen. Chewy, how would you have felt about playing 18 games as a player if you were still playing?
It'd be fine as long as I'm compensated.
That's the deal, right?
Yeah.
Would you want 2 buys? The second buy?
With the way they practice now, yeah, that wouldn't bother me. 2 buys, yeah. Because I think, Adam, back in the day, we used to have 2 buys. Does that sound right?
I don't remember that being.
In the 92 or 93 season, I think they experimented with it, too.
Yeah.
So you had 2 buys one of the years, and then they went back to the 1 buy in 94.
But the 1 buy was like week 2 or week 3, which is totally useless because you're not banged up. So I think with 18, they might want to entertain that.
But again, you're going until President's Day then. I mean,
yeah.
It's if again, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So not like some of the teams. They don't have to worry about that. But
most of the 30.
Adam, yesterday on the show, we talked about the USA Today prediction that the Green Bay Packers would, in fact, be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, only to lose to Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. This is what USA Today has predicted for the 2024 season. Joshy said it would be the worst day of his entire life for the Green Bay Packers to lose a Super Bowl to Aaron Rodgers. Give us the feel on that team, the Jets out there. We don't pay a ton of attention to it here in Wisconsin, just peripherally with Rodgers being under center for this season. Are they a Super Bowl team?
Well, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I think that they have enough talent to make a Super Bowl run. Now, to get to the Super Bowl, so much has to go right. It's hard to say that. Do I think they're capable of reaching the Super Bowl if Aaron Rodgers plays 17 games? I do. But it's also the Jets. And it just feels like with the Jets, something always goes wrong. It just does. Now, one of these years, maybe it's this year, it won't. And just like the Chicago Cubs overcame everything in their past, they won. And one day that'll happen for the Jets. And be great for them if that were this year. But it starts out yesterday with Hassan Reddick, the pass rusher that they traded for, no showing for training camp. That's not how you want to start out. And it's just, that's what happens with the Jets. There's always something that happens. It's just inevitable. It's crazy. Trust me, I grew up as a Jets fan. I grew up in New York, and that was a team I rooted for, and I don't root for them anymore, but I have so many friends who do, and they drive me nuts. I can't take these texts. I'm like, you don't understand. I don't care. That's your issue. Okay. You deal with your what you want.
I got out. Yeah. You're not pulling me back in.
Yeah. I have no interest in being back in. It's not what I do. Not my desire. It's not happening. And so you keep on rooting for your football team, and I hope for your sake they do well. Good luck with that. It hasn't worked out for 50 years. Maybe this will be the year.
Sounds very optimistic. Adam, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Good insight and good stuff, especially on the Jordan Love situation, which we will be keeping, obviously, a very close eye on.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Happy New Year to everybody. Now you get it?
I got it now. I'm a little slow.
Okay, good. Happy New Year.